Hey everybody, this is Lynna and I'm on my channel doing a little video that I wanted to, I don't know, talk about TWAM, whatever that is. It's, I guess, it's short for trans women are men. Yeah, and you know who came up with that? Not a trans exclusionary radical feminist, not some Christian right-wing extremist. No, 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 no. This is a person that is gender bending, I guess, is what I would say, what I would call them a gender bender, because basically they admit, or he admits, that he is not a woman, right? Because trans women are women is what, and I don't even like the word trans. Honestly, transitioning is a verb. Mark and I talk about it all the time. It's something that you do. You get from one point to the other. When we do our show, it's called transition, right? The process of change from one condition to the other. We are now at a new whatever, all that we do in the open, right? And basically, transition is something that you do. You go from one place and you get to another place. And in the case of this individual, they go by the name Fiona, and basically they are proud of the fact that they are a man. I guess that kind of negates the gender dysphoria, I guess, because if you think that you're okay being a man, doesn't that make you not gender dysphoric? I don't understand. So anyway, I just went to their Twitter and I told him that it's dangerous to say these things about trans identified women, right? Women that have a trans experience, because it places them in danger. It really does. And I don't know. I don't know why it takes a person who is supposedly a trans person themselves to like turn on his own community. I don't get it. I really don't. But basically, I said, "Hey, that's it's not cool. You can't be doing that kind of stuff. That's dangerous for those that um I mean, it's like for those that really are dealing with gender dysphoria and they're dealing with the realities of coming to terms with their gender and working through these things. This is just something that it just really troubles a lot of people, you know. And apparently, to this person, Fiona, they really don't think anything of it. They think that it's cool. So they wear a T-shirt that says "Trans women are men," TWAM. And I said, hey, if it works for you, if you want to identify as a man, and you like to wear makeup, and I mean, Boy George back in the day, he didn't identify as a woman, but he wore makeup and bent gender as we know it, and so did David Bowie. And so I said, hey, if that's cool with you, then go on with it. I mean, I wasn't misgendering him because he obviously wants to be known as a man. Um, and then he posts a picture of me back in 2015. Well, first of all, he says, "Oh, those two," as in reference to Mark and I, "those two religious like crazies or something, goon loonies or something," right? And then he pokes fun at us and stuff and says, you're Blarney the Brits have a way of speaking that I don't quite understand, but it says the Blarney something or whatever, theories and stuff, because we were talking about the things that are different in the animal kingdom and stuff like that. We were talking about the pseudo penis of the female spotted hyena. We were talking about, the differences that occur in nature and things like that. That things aren't really as straightforward as one would want to assume biology to be. And so he decides that he's going to, put up this little post about making fun of us and stuff. And I said, that's not cool, or whatever. And then I said, if you want to be a man, then just be a man. Why would you even transition at this point? Why would you even consider transitioning? And later on today, he posts a picture of me from back in 2015, and basically to poke fun at me and stuff, and says, if only I passed like Lynna, because I basically told him, you're a bloke. Just live your truth as a 2020 Boy George David Bowie. But please don't think that you can speak for anyone transitioning, though. You admitted that you can't pass. So you have to resort to being a trans man, trans woman as are men or something, using that meme. And, he decides that he's just going to poke fun at me. So he puts up this picture of me, and I was early in my transition. Obviously, I was going through a lot of things at that time. Those of you who followed me back in 2015 know that I was involved in a very serious car accident, and basically, broke my neck and back and everything, and really wasn't looking really great and stuff. So they grab a screenshot of me from back then. Of course, had to go digging back to 2015. And I was just like, this is so childish, and then people, they go in and they start defending the person who literally, like, is the one who made fun of me, right? I just said, hey, live your truth. So my comment was based on his own admittance that he got clocked everywhere he went when he went out the door. And those were his words back on a podcast that he did with another YouTuber. And I said, if you're happy to identify as a man, that's great, do it, be it. But it's like, it's ridiculous, because every image that they have of themselves is doctored. The first image that they have of themselves is a very highly edited picture. You can see this is me. This is me. This is my face. This is my hair. This is me, right? I'm not hiding behind any filter. This is me in bad lighting. This is me. This is who I am. So those of you who, have a problem and, like with that picture of me and say that I don't pass and stuff, I don't have a problem. Honestly, I don't have a problem living my life, wonderful as it is, married, happy, together with the one that I love. We've been through hell back and forth together, and we've worked through this whole gender thing. We're in our 50s. I mean, how old is Fiona? I don't know how old Fiona is, but we've worked through a lot of things that probably Fiona doesn't have a slightest clue about. So basically, getting misrepresented is really, really, really poor, on the part of Fiona. And those that would back up Fiona and stuff, and basically, it's just ridiculous. So they said, honestly, it's not like people point and shout man at me. It's just that I'm aware I'm read as trans, which I'm sure you understand. If I was at a party and told someone I was born male, I doubt they would be stunned and not believe me. Well, Fiona, that is wonderful for you, and that is great. But to have that kind of mentality and to use that you know, kind of thought process and working through the things that you're working through on your own personal, journey in gender and everything, that's on you, right? That fits you. But that doesn't fit me. It doesn't fit any trans identified woman at all, a woman with a trans history. It doesn't identify and it doesn't fit us. It's you. So you live it. If that's how you want to be seen as and you're fine with it, then go with that. But then, you know, he goes on and people back him up and they say, first of all, you're adorable. Second, I generally try not to resort to comments about how people look, except in cases where someone else does so first. But you pass much more than they do. And that's putting it as kindly as I possibly can. Of course, this is a gender critical person who literally, has commonalities with Fiona because Fiona believes in the gender critical concept. And so rad femmes come to Fiona, gender critical people come to Fiona, and they give Fiona the proper pronouns that Fiona may want. I don't know, maybe, I don't know, because I was told that I was misgendering Fiona, although Fiona identifies as a man. So I don't know how I could be misgendering someone who says they're a man. If it's he, then why not use the word he? I don't get it. So anyway, other people, they just they just they just go and applaud this person for being a jerk, basically, and posting an old picture of me and Mark. And then he goes, my point is that I don't think I look dissimilar to Leanna. I just admit it. I don't I don't really need to admit anything to you at all. And I can be compassionate and empathetic about your situation, which you admitted on that podcast as when you go out that you're always being, you know, clocked and everything, but I don't live that life. I don't live with those fears. I don't live with that angst. I don't live with that kind of reality in my life. And I know that other people may, based on one picture, want to peg me as an unpassable, woman and stuff. But, I don't live there. Twitter is really toxic. We all know that. And for some reason, I guess we enjoy the toxicity or something. But, Fion decided to make a poster child out of me on his page. And basically, they just go on, and it's like, it's funny, someone writes, how TRA's acceptance towards trans people is so conditional. If they are the wrong kind of trans, you resort to nasty comments about the way they look, deliberately misgender them, or call them bootlickers, yet us evil turfs are supposed to be the mean ones. You know, I don't really go with labels necessarily. All of this stuff is really just unnecessary. All the labeling, TWAM, TRA, trans rights activist. I don't see myself as a trans rights activist. I am just a woman married to a man who transitioned, both of us at one point in our lives, and we are now living happily and together in a blissful married existence. That's it. There's really nothing else. We're just humans. We're not trans. We're nothing other than an older married couple. That's it. And we try to keep ourselves in shape. We try to be aware of, being alert to our bodies and what we need. And, as we age, we want to age well. So we want to make sure we put in the right foods into our body so that we don't break down. And we know we're taking hormones. So we have to protect ourselves from, those things, right? And be, proactive, right? And, it's like, I don't really quite understand why people have to just, you know, do the things that they do in order to spin things to make it seem like we're the ones on the attack when we're the ones who basically are the ones being featured and attacked. And it's like they throw out the words narcissism, they throw out the words, TRA, they throw out all these terminologies and all this political nonsense and stuff. And, that we force people not to accept us and not to we force people to have to accept our point of view. And that's really a spin on what Mark and I do, because we don't tell you not to be who you are and to believe what you believe and to have the ideas about gender that you want to have. We don't tell you that. That's not something that we do. We basically say, be you, live your truth. If the truth is that you feel like you're a man, then explore that, be that, enjoy that. But we don't tell other people how they need to be. We're just basically saying, hey, when you project as we used to do, because this is what we used to do ourselves as a trans couple and as a couple that was kind of in between with the whole, like identifying, and oh my gosh, it caused so much confusion, right? Well, we work through that. We've gotten past that level of understanding. And now we believe that it serves us no purpose. It's not that we're denying biology. Obviously, biology is a reality that we all have to live with and deal with. And that doesn't, but that doesn't shape who we are and how we live our lives. I don't go for a prostate exam every week. That is something that if I needed to go, I realize that I have one. I realize that I do have that part. But also realize this, that gender is not decided by one body part. That is just so antiquated, old, and absolutely useless to our modern understanding of how biology works. And we're learning more with every passing day. There's always something new on the horizon, you know, and science knows that it can be wrong. And science knows that one thing that could be true today could be absolutely something else in the future. And we don't know with technological, advancement, what's possible. I mean, will a trans woman be able to have a womb and carry a child? I would say the way things are going, I would say yes. I would say it's possible. Will a trans man be able to have a body part that they've always wanted and be able to utilize it in the way that a typical biological male would? I would say the chances are, the way things are going these days, yes, I would say that those things are indeed possible. So that's the thing. Nothing is in concrete. Nothing is foundationally placed there and will last the test of time and cannot be changed, is unmovable, unshakable, unchangeable. None of that is what is how the world works, how our universe works. So here you have Fiona telling people what they are. And I'm just saying, Mark and I are just saying, Fiona, no. If that's how you feel, it works for you, then live your truth, but don't project. We did that. Mark and I did that in the past. You know, after my accident, I was so like distraught about my transition. I was so concerned. I was so worried that I wasn't going to be able to transition successfully that I thought, well, if it's not going to work for me, then it probably doesn't work for anybody, because if I can't get what I want, it's very selfish. Fionn has stated that when they go outside, that they get clocked. Those were not my words. So Fionn has decided that since he gets clocked as a man, that he's going to say that trans women are men, and only trans women can be men, right? That's it. No, women can't be trans women, I guess, or whatever. And it's like, it feeds into our enemy. It feeds into the hate. It feeds into discrimination. It feeds into hurting trans kids. It feeds into, participation of gender, of kids who are transitioning in sports. And it just really messes everything up, to be honest. So what you're doing is a danger to the trans community. You are, in effect, being a traitor to the trans community, because what you're doing is you're working against the trans community, and you're working to reverse the things that people like Mark have been fighting for and trying to get recognized for such a long time now. It's like things are going backwards. It's like trans identifying people are now just siding with this, like, oh yeah, I can't be what I know myself to be inside, so I'll just be whatever whatever those rad femmes and Christian extremists want me to be. I'll be a man with a fetish. It's like, so that doesn't work though, Fionn. That doesn't work. You're not being helpful at that place. And it's only bringing all these fans to you that can use you. Mark and I got used by the Women's Liberation Front to do their bidding, and once we changed our minds and, updated the way we processed, how we thought about gender and bathrooms and all that, we all of a sudden became a danger to them. So we know these are, like fair weather friends. They're people that, friends is a very, like apostrophes, big parentheses, or apostrophes, big time, right? Because these people are only there because you're doing what they want you to do. You're doing their bidding. So why wouldn't they say that you're doing the right thing, and that you're realistic, and that you're being truthful, and you're being honest about everything, and there needs to be more people like you, Fionn. It's like you're just being used, you're just being manipulated, you're just being a pawn in their hands, and that's it. Nothing else at all, but just being a tool. You're just being used. You're just being used by them. So basically, I'm just tired. Just tired of people spinning things and painting themselves to be the victim when they're the ones who attack. Because my initial comment was simply stating that it's not cool to project. And then that was turned into something else, something else, something else. And then it blew up on Twitter. So that's the truth. That's the whole truth. And it's really sad. It's a sad day when people can't just present who they are to the world, that they have to hide behind filters and masks and, I don't know, a lot of fakeness in order to present themselves in a way that would seem to be genuine, but at the end of the day, it's really not. It's really not. It's really all a big like game. I don't know. And then all this projection, all this, I mean, their post was saying something about how, trans people like, and just, I mean, it was just like, it's so hurtful, so hurtful, the things that are being said, that, basically paints an air of like, being disingenuous and not being true to who you are as a person. I mean, when you say stuff like, that people are doing transition because it's some kind of a fetish, or it's so wrong. It's just so wrong. People just obviously have a problem, and they obviously need to like make excuses for how they feel and put everyone in their box. So anyway, that's about all I have to say. And it says only men romanticize the word woman into meaning a formless, subjective thought. Everyone else knows it applies exclusively to human females. Doesn't mean us trans women can't wear an invisible crown and find happiness, but this ain't our day. Center women and said, oh, I guess it was for World Women's Day or whatever, right? And basically kissing ass, basically, to women that want a man to admit defeat, to admit that he's wrong, that he can't be a woman. And, and it's like, hey, Fionn, if that's you, it's good to throw up the white flag and to say and admit honestly that you're not, but you don't speak for me, and you don't speak for thousands of people like me who know innately who we are and who we will always be. So on that note, I will close up. All right. Thanks, you guys, for listening and watching. And I hope that I clarified some misconceptions, I guess. TWAM. What is that?